Hello, welcome to today's video. I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and if you're not, I hope this video can bring you a little bit of comfort. You know, I've done that intro so many times, and I'm realizing I've always done like a little bit, but I close this eye and then I pinch, but that logistically doesn't make sense because I'm seeing nothing. A little bit of comfort. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, didn't realize that my intro is flawed. Make a game theory on that. Okay, let's get into today's video, which is another big sister advice video. And I have like a whole list on my notes app about different advice things I want to give in a big sister video. However, some of the other ones all kind of have their own theme or niche, or I could kind of pair them together. So here are just like some random life advice I feel like isn't really talked about as much, but is like very impactful, and just things I've learned in my small amount of years I've been on this earth. Like right before I go off to, oh wait, is that on the mic? I have a ring light because it's getting darker, and normally I film like during the day, so I'm hoping the ring light doesn't affect the audio. Please. Okay, so let's get into my advice. And of course, you know your girl has a little notes app. Tip number 1 is to take a nap. Taking a nap is so underrated. And when I say nap, I mean like a real nap. A real 20, maybe 30 minutes max nap. Not like sleeping for 2 hours. That is not a nap. That's you ruining your sleep pattern. That is you ruining your sleep schedule. A good nap is basically right before you hit REM sleep. REM sleep is rapid eye movement. This is when you start to dream. This is when your body like literally shuts down to start repairing itself from your previous day, getting you ready for your next day. So when your memory starts to happen, it's super duper important. However, have you ever woken up and felt groggy the next day and not refreshed? That's because you didn't complete your REM cycle. And so whenever you take a nap, that's the worst point, is whenever you wake up from a nap and you're more tired. That's because you woke up and interrupted your REM sleep. So it's very important that if you're taking a nap, it shouldn't be long at all. Set a timer or something. I forgot if it was Albert Einstein or Thomas Edison. One of the great inventors did it, where he would sleep with like metal keys in his hand basically. And slept in like an armchair, so as soon as he fell asleep and dropped the keys and they'd hit the ground or hit his foot, it would wake him up, and then he'd come up with fresh new ideas. And the reason why I say just take a nap is because sometimes life is stressful. It is so stressful, and sometimes you can't do anything to change it. However, taking a little nap is shown to basically improve your mood, improve your health, and it just kind of refreshes you and restarts you, so you are more capable and more functioning, able to handle situations. I've had emotional situations happen where I'm crying, I don't know what to do, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's just take a nap. Because taking a nap is not going to change anything. When I wake up, the problem will still be there, but I will feel more refreshed and more capable of handling it. Taking naps, at least I notice, makes me more creative. So I like to write stories. So right before I'm trying to script out a scene that I want to write, I will basically go to sleep imagining the scene happening, and then I dream, like a little dream, whatever, daydream, whatever you want to call it, of the scene, and I finish it out. And so it helps me basically like come up with story ideas and things like that. Or just rejuvenates you, makes you feel more alert and more prepared to do whatever. Just take more naps, but take them wisely. And also fix your sleep schedule while you're at it. Everyone needs their 7 to 9 hours, babe. Tip number 2, or not even tip number 2, just like life advice, is that waking up earlier does not automatically make you a better person than someone who stays up later. And so what I mean by that is, say you have a set schedule, right? You're someone who wakes up earlier because you see all those girly vlogs, routines, or whatever, where it's like, oh, wake up at 5 a.m. with me, wake up at 6 a.m. with me. And so you're like, let me do that, because all the good girlies, all the respectable people are waking up on time, and that's just when you get your life together. that's not how it always works. Some people's internal circadian rhythm is just different. Some people are not more productive during the day. You could wake up early, you could be getting the amount of sleep you need, you could be eating healthy and still not be fully alert and productive until later in the day. And so if you're someone who is genuinely more productive at night, you don't just say that because you like to stay up late and game all night and then get 2 hours of sleep, but you're genuinely like you get most of your work done at night, then maybe you need to sleep in a bit more during the day. Everyone's sleep schedule is a bit different, and I first thought of this with Haley Pham and how she is someone who would stay up later and sleep in a bit more, but her husband goes to bed super early and wakes up on time. Everyone's like rhythm is different. The time you like to wake up or the time you go to sleep is different. As long as you find the time of day where you feel most productive, most alert to actually get work done, then go with it. Right? Don't make your sleep pattern or your productivity routine based on someone else, because I think a lot of like, oh, Bible reading in the morning is the best, or creating this good morning routine. Like a night routine is also important. Everyone's just different. So just don't compare yourself to anyone else. And as Ernest Hemingway once said, true nobility isn't comparing yourself to your fellow man, but your former self. Here's my third advice, or just quote, remember this basically, is that there's never going to be enough time in one day to get everything done that you want to do. You're going to have a bunch of different hobbies and passions and homework and life stuff. Oh, and don't forget to eat, don't forget to work out, don't forget to do this. There's so much stuff that is expected of us to do in a day, and you will never have enough time to do any of it in one day. But you will have enough time to do it all in a week. You will have enough time to do it all in a month or in a year. And this was something that's really important to me that I started thinking about when I would make yearly goals. Is I was like, oh, I want to start doing this every single day. Okay, well that's not realistic. So why don't we say, try doing it once a month, and then try doing it once a week, and then maybe try getting it every other day. Because it's not physically possible to, at least for me, I like to dance, I like to read, I like to write, I like to journal, I try to exercise. Like, it's physically impossible to spread my day out amongst all those and then also do schoolwork on top of it, do clubs, work, extracurriculars, whatever. Like, it's physically impossible to get all in a day and spend meaningful time on it all. So it's important to remember, dedicate different days of your week to different things, and understand that yes, life is stressful. There's never enough time in one day, but there is in a week. So just don't ever stress yourself to be like, I have to do 30 things in one day to truly be productive, because you can easily just spread it out amongst a week. Alright, and then my fourth tip, this is something that people should try to incorporate, and this was something that I recently started to do. I really don't remember who I heard this from, and it makes me really sad. But it's basically, if there's any situation that ever makes you anxious, think of the worst case scenario. Think of the worst possible thing that could ever happen. So my example is my first day of work. I was super anxious going into work. My worst case scenario going into work is the idea that I'm going to go into work, I'm going to make no friends on my first day, talk to no one, burn myself on the popcorn machine, and have a customer yell at me. That's what I told myself was my worst case scenario for my first day of work. And our brains is really truly magical, the things our brains can do, and the terrible things that we can think of that to scare us from doing things, that we could equally use that power to convince us and to push us to do good things. So that's your worst case scenario. So then you think of your best case scenario. Best case scenario, I become best friends with everyone that I work with, and I do nothing wrong, and all the customers love me. Alright? Which, both of those extremes are super crazy, right? Like, of course I'm not gonna have a great day where I mess up, and of course I'm not gonna have a terrible day where they basically fire me on the spot and I leave with burns on my arm. Like, that's when you realize that the reality of what's actually going to happen in any scary situation is right in the middle. because your brain can conjure up some really terrible and really great things for you. So you just have to think of your worst case, best case, and then be ready for whatever happens in the middle, which is what usually happens. And honestly, it makes certain situations less scary. And I was reading Haiku, the second one, again, and it's the scene where Hinata hits Kageyama in the back of his head because he was super nervous going against this really good volleyball team, and Kageyama tells him, "What are you scared for now? The worst thing that could have happened is the fact that you hit me in the back of your head and I haven't done anything. So what else are you scared of?" Right? Like, if you overcome your greatest fear, then what is there left to be scared of? Like, you should just go full in. So if my worst case scenario is this, and then I go in and it's not like that at all, then what else am I to be scared of, like going in for a second day or a third day, right? And so any situation, whether it's to talk to someone, like having a serious conversation, you're scared of how it's gonna go, or going in for a test, worst case scenario, I get a 0 on this. Best case scenario, I get a 90, right? And then the reality of it's gonna be right in the middle. And it's just to put things into perspective that life isn't as scary as we all make it seem, but it can be as great as we all wish it to be, right? Just give yourself some hope in there too. Don't always try to psych yourself out. Have some confidence in yourself that you can do great things. So those were my 4 tips, advice, and thoughts on just random things that you could probably keep in mind to have a happier day-to-day life, be more mindful. So other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more things like this, more big sister type videos, comment down below what kind of topics you want me to cover, what kind of questions you have that you might be scared to talk to someone about, and or you might not have someone to talk about. I would love to like have a video where I just answer a bunch of y'all's questions. I think that would be fun. And other than that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my description box down below for all my wonderful social media. And don't forget, you are loved. And I hope you have a wonderful day today. Ooh, I don't know if this is not whitewashing, but you know, like washing me out. I'm hoping this looks better. Okay. Tip number 1 is to take a nap. Sorry, that had something on my leg. Getting itself ready for the next day. This is when like memory happens. Set a timer or something. So everyone's sleep schedule is a bit different, and that's another video in the bag. Adulting is hard.